Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to tackle something we've all seen but maybe don't think about enough, the first aid kit. We're going to break down why it's so important, what actually needs to be inside one, and how you can be sure you've got the right kit and that it's ready to go when you really need it.
So let's just jump right in with a really important question. I want you to think about this for a second, whether it's for your job, your home, or even your car. Are you actually ready for the unexpected? Because being prepared for an emergency, it's not just a nice to have, it's a responsibility.
And if you're wondering why it matters so much, look at this number, 693,000. That's how many non-fatal injuries happen in UK workplaces in just 1 year. Think about that. Every single one of those was a situation where the right first aid supplies could have made all the difference, stopping a small problem from spiraling into something much worse.
Okay, so we know that kit is the tool, right? But what are we actually trying to do with it? What's the goal? Well, it turns out there are 3 core principles that guide everything in first aid.
Yeah, it really boils down to just these 3 things, the 3 Ps, if you will. Number 1, and this is the big one, preserve life. Number 2, prevent the condition from getting any worse. And number 3, promote recovery. Give the body a head start on healing. That's it. Those 3 aims are the bedrock of everything we do in first aid.
All right, let's get practical. We've all seen that classic green box with the white cross, right? But what's actually supposed to be in there? Let's crack one open and find out.
So here's a look at what's inside a typical standard issue kit that meets HSE guidelines. And, at first glance, it might not seem like a lot, but you'd be amazed at how many different situations you can handle with just these basic items. So let's dig into what the Health and Safety Executive, that's the HSE, says is the bare minimum you should have.
Now, what's interesting is that the HSC is really clear about this. There isn't one single mandatory list of items that fits every situation. It all depends on your specific needs, which you figure out with the risk assessment. But they do give us this great starting point, this minimum guidance. The essentials, different dressings, bandages, and super important, disposable gloves for safety, plus a little leaflet to guide you.
And this is a perfect example of why having different tools is so important. It's like trying to fix everything in your house with just a hammer, right? You just can't. A simple plaster or an adhesive dressing is great for those small cuts and scrapes. But for something bigger, you're going to need a proper, sterile wound dressing to control bleeding and really protect the injury.
And some of these items are like the Swiss Army knives of the first aid world. Take the triangular bandage. It looks simple, but you can fold it in just the right way to make a really effective sling for an arm injury. And let's talk about disposable gloves for a second. Please, never ever underestimate these. They are absolutely critical for stopping infections from spreading. They protect you and they protect the person you're trying to help.
Okay, so we've covered the basics. But how do you figure out exactly what your workplace needs? Good news is, you don't have to guess. There's actually a really clear, practical system for this.
And it all starts with one thing, a risk assessment. This is according to the British standard BS 8599. You just have to look at your environment and ask, is this a low-risk place, like an office or shop, or is it high-risk, a place with machinery, like a workshop, a kitchen, or a warehouse? That one question changes everything.
And check this out. This chart makes it super simple to see how that risk assessment plays out. So let's say you're in a low-risk office with, less than 25 people. A small kit will do the job. But now, imagine a high-risk workshop. Even with just 10 employees, you'd need to step up to a medium kit. See? It's all just a logical system based on risk and how many people are around. But of course, not everyone works in a standard office or workshop, right? Life happens everywhere. And for that, there are all kinds of specialized kits built for very specific situations. So if your job puts you on the road a lot, maybe you're a delivery driver or a sales rep, a regular workplace kit just won't cut it. You'll need a proper motoring kit. These follow a different British standard and are packed with supplies specifically for the kinds of injuries you might see in a traffic accident.
And what about kitchens and catering? They have a really unique rule. Any plaster or dressing has to be super visible. And that's why their kids always have those bright blue plasters. It makes total sense, right? If one happens to fall into a batch of food, you can spot it a mile away and avoid any contamination.
Now, kids, they get different kinds of bumps and scrapes, don't they? So a pediatric kit is an absolute must-have. Whether it's for your own home, a school, or a nursery, these kits are specifically designed for little ones, often following guidelines from groups like the National Child Minding Association. Then you have the really high-risk jobs. Think construction sites, forestry, farming, places with heavy machinery. Here, a standard kit might not be enough for a really serious injury. That's where a critical injury pack comes in. This isn't for small cuts. It's got specialized gear to handle catastrophic bleeding. It's designed to buy those crucial life-saving minutes until the paramedics can get there.
Okay, so you've done the assessment, you've picked out the perfect kit, you're all set, right? Well, not quite. There's one last step, and honestly, it might be the most important one of all.
Look, a first aid kit is useless if it's not ready to go. And that means a few simple things. You've got to check those expiry dates on everything. If you use something, even one little plaster, you replace it right away. No excuses. The kit needs to be stored somewhere obvious and easy to grab in a panic. And finally, everyone needs to know where it is. It does no good locked in a cabinet nobody can find.
So here's the bottom line. Being prepared isn't something you do once and then forget about. It's a constant commitment. It's about looking out for yourself, your family, your coworkers. Think of that first aid kit as your first line of defense when something goes wrong. So the only question I have for you is yours ready?